people believe that meeting their twin flame is the highest form of love. It is often described as the ultimate union, one that transcends ordinary human experience. Others argue that what people often call a twin flame is nothing more than a strong emotional attachment dressed up in spiritual language. This raises a crucial question: what is the twin flame union really about? Is it a sacred soul contract that shapes our growth, or are we mistaking powerful psychological bonds for something divine? When people talk about twin flames, they usually describe a bond that feels extraordinary. It is often said to be intense, magnetic, and unexplainable, a kind of connection that pulls you in with an almost supernatural force. Meeting someone who mirrors your soul can feel like more than a coincidence; it feels destined. This is why so many spiritual communities treat the twin flame journey as sacred. The idea is that your soul has split into two halves, and meeting your twin flame is about reuniting with that other piece of yourself. The narrative is compelling: two halves of the same soul recognizing each other across lifetimes, joining together not only for love, but for growth, healing, and service to the world. But intensity alone is not proof of a spiritual contract. Human beings are wired to long for connection. When we meet someone who activates deep emotions, our mind and body can confuse that longing with destiny. A strong magnetic attraction may feel spiritual, yet sometimes it is simply biology, psychology, or unhealed trauma seeking resolution. Attachment plays a compelling role in relationships. Psychology shows that people can become attached because of past wounds, fear of abandonment, or the desire for validation. These attachment dynamics often begin in childhood, shaped by our early caregivers. For example, a child who felt neglected may grow into an adult who clings desperately to partners, mistaking their anxiety for love. Sometimes, what feels like a twin flame bond is actually the resurfacing of old emotional needs. The push and pull, the longing and the fear, can all create a cycle that feels spiritual but is really psychological. You might feel like you cannot live without the other person, but what you are actually experiencing is the fear of reliving abandonment. Attachment relationships often replay old patterns. If someone had an unavailable parent, they may unconsciously seek out inconsistent partners, believing that winning their love will heal the original wound. When that struggle is dressed in spiritual language, it is easy to confuse attachment with a sacred contract. But underneath the label, the cycle is still one of fear and dependency. Still, the concept of a soul contract cannot be ignored. From a spiritual lens, not all relationships are random. Some bonds carry deeper lessons. A soul contract is thought to be an agreement made before birth, where two halves of the same soul decide to meet in this lifetime to help each other grow. Soul contracts are not always about comfort or joy. Sometimes they bring challenge, heartbreak, or awakening. A true twin flame union is also a soul contract, but its purpose is not mere romance or passion. Instead, it is about growth, healing, and transformation. The union pushes each soul to evolve, to shed illusions, and to awaken to its higher potential. This is what sets soul contracts apart from attachment. Attachment holds on for fear of losing. A soul contract allows space for growth, even when painful. Attachment drains. A soul contract strengthens, even through suffering. One clear sign of attachment is that it often drains energy. It leaves you anxious, insecure, and dependent on the other person. You might constantly question where you stand, or feel like your happiness depends entirely on their presence. Attachment is built on fear, the fear of losing someone, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being enough. A soul contract, on the other hand, may still challenge you, but it pushes you towards healing and self-discovery. Even if it is painful, it does not trap you in fear. Instead, it encourages you to face that fear and rise above it. For example, meeting a twin flame might bring all your deepest insecurities to the surface, but rather than letting them consume you, the union teaches you how to stand stronger in yourself. Another way to look at this is to ask, what is the outcome of the relationship? If the connection leaves you broken, lost, and stuck in unhealthy cycles, it may be attachment. But if it inspires growth, makes you face your shadow, and leads you to a deeper understanding of who you are, then it may be a soul contract. Twin flame unions are not meant to complete you. They are meant to awaken you. It is easy to confuse intensity with destiny. A relationship full of passion, conflict, and longing can feel like the most important connection of your life. The high highs and low lows mimic the feeling of transformation. But not every strong emotion is an indication that the union is spiritual. Sometimes, intensity is only the heart trying to heal old wounds. That constant drama, the chasing, the running, the overwhelming desire, may be more about survival patterns than spiritual alignment. The soul contract truth is that genuine connections do not just stir emotions, they transform you. They do not hold you captive, they set you free. Freedom, not fear, is the mark of a sacred bond. This is why discernment is so necessary. Believing every intense relationship is a twin flame can trap you in toxic cycles. If you cling to the idea that someone is your twin flame, you might tolerate mistreatment, toxicity, or neglect, all in the name of divine love. On the other hand, dismissing the idea of soul contracts completely can close your eyes to the deeper meaning of certain relationships. Some connections really do catalyze growth in a way ordinary bonds do not. They shake your foundation, but ultimately, they awaken your spirit. The balance is to recognize when a bond is teaching you something, whether through love or pain, and to allow it to guide you towards growth. That growth is the real purpose, not the label. Do not think about choosing between twin flames and attachment as if they are opposites. Sometimes a relationship can contain elements of both. An attachment bond can evolve into a soul contract if you consciously engage with the lessons it brings. Likewise, a true soul contract can still trigger attachment wounds that you must work through. The vital question you should ask yourself is, does the connection help me evolve, or does it keep me trapped? That is the real test. If it keeps you small, chained, and dependent, it is likely attachment. If it makes you face yourself, grow stronger, and live with greater authenticity, then it may very well be a sacred contract. The mystery of twin flames lies in the balance between psychology and spirituality. On one side, we must acknowledge the powerful influence of attachment, trauma, and emotional need. On the other hand, we must leave space for the possibility that some connections truly are destined, designed to awaken and transform us. In the end, whether you call it a twin flame or simply an intense bond, the question remains, does this relationship expand you, or does it diminish you? Does it bring freedom, or does it feed fear? The soul contract truth is simple. Real spiritual unions push us toward growth. They awaken us to who we truly are. They may hurt, they may challenge, but they do not imprison. They set us free.